An anime that reminds you of your dead dad. Not exactly the best pitch to convince someone to watch an anime, but for me, that description alone was enough. I haven't thought about my dad much since he died 4 years ago. I at times even forget that he's actually dead. So I watched this anime wanting to give myself some space to think about him amidst my hectic life. And God, it broke me. The tears that dripped down my face weren't for the people around me who expected a display of emotions as he was lowered into his grave, but they were finally for my dad. I waited for this moment to happen for 4 years, and this anime was the reason for it. Because I finally saw my experiences reflected back to me in this anime. No piece of media I've seen has ever depicted that weird and unexplainable feeling of, I don't know. It's always a sob story, a burst of tears, or a cry for help, but never nothing. Asa, the main character of Journal with Witch, walks out of a convenience store only to see her parents suddenly die in a car crash. After a few hours, Makio, her aunt, sees Asa almost look emotionless as she lies on her grandma's shoulders. Makio then brings her to a cafe to eat and asks her a question. What are you feeling? Asa struggles to respond because what she feels is nothing. Not sadness, not anger, not grief, but nothing. Because how is she supposed to feel? In the span of one day, her parents were casually asking her to pick up some drinks and snacks at the local convenience store. Then suddenly, they're gone. Forever. How can you even begin to process that? No wonder she doesn't know what she feels. That's like signing up for a class, entering the room for your first day, and having to do the final exam. It's so much thrown at your face all at once. You can never really predict that. You can never tell how you react to a death, especially if it is your first time. I certainly could have never predicted editing a video for 12 hours straight the day I learned my dad died. Yes, you heard me right. I edited a video as a response to my dad's death because I was thinking I had this video planned already, and by tomorrow I would be away from my PC when I go to my dad's hometown. And my dad was the breadwinner of the family, so maybe my YouTube career could have. I don't know. I didn't cry at all that day. It doesn't mean I never cared for my dad. It just was what I felt I needed to do at that moment. At the time, I felt weird about the whole situation. That the time after my dad's death didn't play out like some soap opera sob drama. For a time, I felt shame I didn't feel that way. Some naive, dramatic, selfish part of me wanted a whole storyline if ever my dad died. I thought to myself, this is the stuff that my autobiographical film would be about. The Woes of May, starring Sandra Oh and Ray Seahorn. You grow up watching so many dramatized versions of grief. You'd think this is what my life would be like if ever someone died. It was death mixed with the ego that you actually matter. Then my dad actually died. There was no dramatic music. The sun still shone brightly that morning, coloring the world in its brightest possible hues. Shortly after, I got an email alerting me that I had to choose my classes in a few days for the first semester of my first year in college. The world didn't care that my dad died. It didn't stop for him. It just kept moving on. I hated it. How dare no one understand what I was going through? I lost my fucking dad. Did they not know what that meant? I wanted to rip them, but I moved on too. I had to. Classes had to be attended to. My dog needed to be fed and walked. And people that were still with me needed to be greeted with a good morning. Because that's the only thing you can do after you lose someone. You keep moving. Otherwise, you would have to stop. Asa doesn't stop and keeps living her life trying to find out who she is. She finds out that she is awfully and painfully plain. She doesn't have much going for her like special talents or unique perspective on life. She thought that losing her parents and moving into a cramped apartment with her weird aunt who speaks in scriptures half the time would give her some new and interesting perspective that makes her stand out. She hates that she can't write anything profound or thought provoking when trying to sketch out lyrics for a song. It's a weird problem to be so fixated on, wondering why the loss of your parents suddenly doesn't make you an interesting person. You'd think her thoughts would lead more into grieving the actual loss of her parents. Why did they die? What does this mean for my future? Will I still see them in some afterlife far from my reach? However, how can one think about something they don't understand yet? Because Asa does not understand what it means for her parents to die. She does not understand it at the start of the series, nor at the end of episode 1. It takes time before that understanding sinks in. So, she goes to school, hangs out with friends, cleans Maki's apartment, watches shows, sings, and lives life. Almost as if nothing has changed. And throughout all this, she never cried for her parents. Asa did actually cry several times throughout the show. At first, she cried because Maki stood up for her at the funeral. Second, because she felt bad for being mad at her best friend. Third, because she was lonely and felt that nobody understood her. The first time she cried directly because of her parents was in episode 8. She did not cry for her parents when they died. She didn't cry for them at the funeral. She was even angry at the heartfelt message her mom wrote for her 20th birthday. She finally cried because Makia wrote about what sadness felt like, and Asa saw what she had been feeling all this time laid out in text in front of her. At this moment, she finally understood what it meant to lose her parents. She logically knew that her parents were dead, as shown by her saying, "No dad, no mom," in the first episode. But she just says it as a fact, not because she understands what that really means. Her coming to this realization was never said explicitly. It was quietly building up throughout the series, because that's how processing your emotions actually works. You don't process your feelings by having someone lecture you about parents dead equals you must be sad, and suddenly being okie dokie minutes later, or by repeatedly telling yourself, they're dead. They're dead. They are dead. Processing your emotions is not one simple set of instructions. It is subtle and often undetectable. It is by sleeping for half the day to rest from stress, letting your mind wander and dream. It is through going through things in your house and remembering or not remembering what it was like to live with them. It is angrily screaming to your teachers that you don't want to be the girl whose parents died. It is through journaling, writing about what you're feeling at that moment, or maybe drawing some silly little doodles. It is through living out days of seemingly mundane occurrences with caring people to guide and nourish your healing. There are lessons in all of these tiny moments that help you understand more about the loss of your parents, even if you are aware of them or not. Little by little, in the 7 episodes leading up to episode 8, Asa processes her feelings slowly until the moment comes. That moment of clarity and understanding. And you can't predict that moment you finally internalize those feelings. It can come whenever it likes to, and can be triggered by anything such as simple words on paper or an anime. I never had the chance to properly process my dad's death. From the moment he died, I was constantly moving or dealing with people each day. Having him die right before starting college was kind of inconvenient. I even remembered a moment where I was in a Zoom meeting for the college orientation in my room, while my dad's coffin was just in the room next to me. On top of that, we had people over at his house we had to entertain every day, and mass and rosary every night for a whole week. On top of that, I had to squeeze into a small room with my siblings and mom, who I'm not exactly comfortable expressing my feelings to. After his burial, we flew back directly to my house, only for me to start immediately preparing for college. It felt like I never had a chance to breathe. Fast forward 4 years, and I still haven't properly thought about my dad's death. Watching this anime gave me that space to think. Watching Asa process her emotions made me realize that I have been slowly understanding what my dad's death meant to me over the years. Even if moments were never explicitly about my dad, they still helped me form an idea of what death means. Seeing other stories about losing someone, talking to friends, understanding how precious life is, learning about OFWs, seeing funny dad clips, learning what an IT manager really does, hearing stories about my dad from others, reading books, creating videos, just living life. I'm so glad that I finally had a chance to think about my dad's death and come to a better understanding. However, the more I thought about his death, a dark thought started to emerge as I untangled my web of emotions. A thought I was afraid to acknowledge throughout the past 4 years. Do I even care that my dad died? How you react after your parents' death depends on how you feel about your parents themselves, whether you loved or hated them. If you loved them, cry to your heart's content. If you hated them, fuck them and forget they ever existed. It would be so simple. However, Asa couldn't choose between the two, or rather, she did not know. Asa's parents and their depiction is key to why Asa feels lost and how to react to their deaths. On the one hand, her mom is a stay-at-home wife whose only goal is to provide the comfiest life for Asa. She cooks every day, fixes her room, and gives her all the support she needs. Her dad works hard every day to provide the money to support her lifestyle and schooling. Their family is living a cozy and safe life that many people would envy. However, her mom also judges her for cutting her hair like a boy. She discourages her from joining the band club. Her dad dismisses her plea to talk with mom about her hair because he's too busy reading a W3 school's page or something. Seriously, no way bubble sort is more important than your own daughter. He gives a compliment for her performance at a choir recital, saying that she stood out. That seemed more to slight her than encourage her. Her mom and dad are not even legally married because her dad seemingly lost interest for her mother a few months into her pregnancy and pretends to still care to not ruin his reputation in the company. Her parents are not angels, nor are they devils. They're just human. And Asa throughout the show tries to understand how she feels about them. As she realizes the truth about her parents, she rejects her mom's letter for her in anger because she couldn't believe that her mom actually loved her. She angrily wrote in her journal that she was annoyed that her mom died like that, as if it's her fault. Questioning whether your parents loved you when they put in so much effort to provide you with shelter, food, and education may seem disrespectful. But I totally understand Asa here. When your dad is an OFW, making him absent in your house for 10 months out of 12. When your dad each year still offers you shrimp fried rice, even though you tell him each and every single time that you're allergic to shrimp. When your dad listens to you come out through a phone call and says that it's just a phase. Did he ever know who I was? I don't hate my dad. He's actually a pretty good guy that has done charity work for his local communities, sponsored college tuitions for his neighbors, and worked hard for all the privileges he gave to me. But when you see your dentist more times in a year than your own father, wondering if they ever loved you is not a far-fetched thought. One of the strangest feelings I ever had happened a few months after he died. I was halfway through my first semester in college. I went to the bathroom to brush my teeth after a long school day. I put the toothpaste on my toothbrush, wet it, and looked up to see myself in the mirror. A thought of my dad randomly popped up in my mind. I paused for a moment and thought to myself, I feel like nothing has changed. I am able to confront these depressing and scary thoughts about my dad because I rid all judgment towards myself. I don't stop thinking about a thought just because it may seem disrespectful. I brave through my fear to confront a thought that I feel to be true. I can feel whatever I need to feel. I don't have to perform for any other family member or person in society. I learned this mindset from the other main character of the series, Makio. Makio serves as her guardian figure throughout the show and guides Asa in processing her parents' death. She isn't exactly great at it, even forgetting to celebrate her birthday. But what she lacks in consistency and understanding, she makes up for her guidance. She does not understand what Asa is going through, nor is she ever going to. But what she does do is what any other person that isn't Asa can do. Let Asa be Asa. Asa gets pissed at others because she doesn't understand them, as if they're speaking a language from a different country. She's mad that Makio never gives her the advice or words that she desperately wants to hear. She hated to be known among her classmates as the girl whose parents died. But despite these outlandish and provocative feelings, Makio lets her feel the way that she wants to and never shames her for it. She even goes as far as to protect this freedom by taking Asa into her small, dingy apartment that barely even houses herself because she knows that every other person in that funeral service will never give her the space to breathe. They may pour hundreds of thousands of yen into therapy and medication, or spoil her with every conceivable gift that a teenage girl could want, but never give her the attention or guidance to understand what grief is. Makio does not ever attempt to fix Asa. She lets Asa fix herself. This allows Asa to approach her parents' death in whatever way she wants. Asa feels free under Makio's roof. She never felt that freedom with her parents, breaking down one day because she assumed that Makio wouldn't allow her to be in the band club like her mother did years ago. You can and should do anything to process your emotions without feeling shame for any of it. It may be as silly as making a video essay about an anime that you really, really like a normal amount and that you think everyone should watch. Towards the end of the show, Asa starts to come to an understanding on her parents' death and forms a solid foundation of who she is and what she wants. However, there's still one more thing that she has to deal with. Makio tells her one day that her parents' death anniversary is coming up. Makio reassures her that she can do anything. It could be a typical custom, simply talking to someone about it, or it could be nothing. Asa decides to do it her own way. She decides to celebrate the birthdays of her parents instead of their death anniversary. She didn't want to be reminded each year that her parents died. She wanted a special celebration of her parents, a time to appreciate who they were and what they gave her. Despite everything, just a chance to think about them. A reminder that they may be gone physically, but their presence was and will always be with us. Happy birthday, Daddy. I wish I had more time with you. I'm still here, trying my best to keep our promise.